I'm tired of pretending that I'm not happy of being pregnant with my baby. I am 28 weeks pregnant with my first child, and you know what? I'm happy, but I'm not allowed to express this. My older sister, 27 female, has fertility issues and was told in her teens that her chances of having kids is very slim. Unfortunately, she has miscarried twice, with one of those times being this year. I found out that I was pregnant shortly after her miscarriage. No one really had anything positive to say, and I was advised by many family members to wait a while until I told my sister. I told her when I was around 16 weeks. Even after I told her, I was still advised to keep things private. One day, I just decided to post on Instagram that I was having a baby. My cousin messaged me shortly after telling me that was so insensitive of me to do and I need to take it down. Thanksgiving was like a week ago and I decided to spend it with my side of the family. And I was alone because my boyfriend decided to spend it with his family. Mind you, I'm in my third trimester, so anyone can practically tell that I'm pregnant regardless of what I wear. When I showed up, my aunt told me I needed to change before my sister got there because my bump was too showy. And not only that, but while we were all together, all the focus switched to me and I just kept getting told I'm too young and I should focus on other things, not a baby. They went as far as to suggest that I give my baby to my sister. When I spoke up, I was told that they were just trying to look out for me and help me considering I'm young and pregnant. I call bullshit because if they were really just trying to support me, wouldn't they try their best to keep me by their side rather than keep trying to take away from my pregnancy? Is it just me or is this going beyond protecting my sister and being worried for me since I'm younger?
Okay, story time on how I found out I was pregnant and how I told my parents. Okay, so starting off from the beginning, around May, like the first week of May, I got invited to a party, and around that time, my period was about a month late, I want to say. I had already been noticing for a while that my period was late, but I didn't really think anything of it because I have a really irregular period. And I thought it was just from stress because I had finals during that time. So I assumed like I was just stressing a lot because I had so many exams. And I didn't really have any symptoms either besides my period being late. Anyways, so my friend invites me to a party and I'm like, okay, my period's really late. So I was keeping that in mind. And I go get dinner with one of my best friends and I'm like telling her like about the party and that my period was late and like how I didn't want to be drinking if I was pregnant because you know that was obviously a possibility, but I didn't really think I would be, but I was like just in case, like I want to take a test. So after dinner we go and we buy the test, and literally guys, like this is so embarrassing, the Walmart we went to, the pregnancy tests are locked, so you literally have to press the button to get an associate to take it out for you, and a man comes and he literally grabs it and he walks me in front of all of Walmart and walks me, ignore my nose, and walks me to the checkout aisle with the pregnancy test in his hand for the whole world to see. So I was obviously very humiliated to let the whole world see that I was going to be taking a pregnancy test. But anyways, I get home, I take it, literally guys, that's how fast it came out positive. When I tell you, like, I thought it was broken. So I automatically, obviously, tell my best friend, and me and her are both in shock because, like, yeah, even though my period was late, I genuinely did not think I was pregnant because I had no symptoms at all. Even to this day, I really never had any symptoms. Like, I never got morning sickness. Like, I just didn't really have any symptoms besides, I did have a lot of hormonal acne though, like my face and skin was at the worst it had ever been. And so after I tell my best friend, I obviously have to tell the dad of the baby. And me and him were not on speaking terms. We literally had each other blocked on everything. And we're both doing our own thing already. And by the way, guys, he's not like a random guy. This hair is driving me crazy. We dated for 3 years, so I didn't just like get pregnant by like a random ass guy, if that's what you're thinking. So I unblock him and I tell him the news. He thinks it's a joke, but I was obviously not joking because why, like, first of all, me and him could not stand each other during this time, so it's like, why would I willingly want to reach out to you and play a joke when we don't even want to speak to each other? But yeah, neither of us believed it, so a couple days later he buys me 3 more tests just to be sure, and they all come out positive. So I end up telling my older sister because I obviously had no idea what I was gonna do, and then I ended up telling my aunt about it because I was obviously freaking out about how I was gonna tell my parents. So she made me an appointment to do like a confirmation pregnancy test, and she was like, let's just know for sure before you actually have to tell your parents. So we do the confirmation test, and it's also positive. 4 tests all came out positive, and I was, oh no, 5 tests, and I was still in denial, guys. Like literally I could not get it through my head. And so at this appointment, they end up telling me like how far along I am, and they tell me I am literally 2 months pregnant. When I tell you, like even to this day, I'm still like, I still can't believe it. But they were telling me I was 2 months and that I was going to be due in December. Could you imagine finding out you're pregnant in May and then finding out you're going to have the baby the same year? That's literally no time to process it. Like, how was I supposed to find out I was already 2 months and the baby was going to be coming the same exact year? So, then basically reality starts to set in. Not really, but more like the consequences are like coming to me now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like my parents are literally gonna kick me out because they've always told me like if I get pregnant, I'm out the house. Where am I at though? Anyways, they always tell me they're gonna kick me out the house, and then my parents are also very old school, so very much like I need to get married before I have kids. So I was like, crap, like they're gonna make me get back with my ex and make us get married and live together. And I was literally like, I was dreading that. And so basically like we're trying to think of when will be the right time to tell my parents, because my mom, her intuition is scary and she catches on like that. Ooh, it's kind of looking crazy. Like literally, I shit you not, the day I took the first pregnancy test after dinner with my best friend, I sit down on the couch with my parents and my mom looks at me and she's like, do you have anything you need to tell me? And I was like, bro, like how does she know already? Like anytime I do something sneaky behind her back and my mom hits me with that line, I'm like, how does she know? Like what the hell is in her head telling her that I'm doing something? And then my mom starts to notice like little things, I guess, and starts making like a bunch of like little pregnancy joke comments, and I'm literally like, bro. And then she started noticing like it had been a while since I had bought pads or that I had started my period, because all of us are in sync, like me, my mom, and my younger sister. So she started to notice like it had been a minute. And I was originally gonna wait till I was like entering my second trimester to tell my mom, just to be safe. But obviously I was running out of time because my mom was catching on very quickly. And like every time I wanted to tell her, it was like something coming up. It was like Mother's Day, so I was like, I can't tell her before Mother's Day. And then she got really sick for a week, so I couldn't tell her because she was sick. And then she was like stressing with other things. So it was like never the right time to tell her, you know what I mean? And basically like it's just eating me up inside. So I'm like, okay, I need to tell my parents and like spit it out already, because I'm gonna go crazy and they're gonna find out any second. So basically we're like at the end of May already, and I tell my aunt and my sister like, hey, I'm gonna tell my mom like I need y'all. And so my aunt like basically tells me like if I need a place to stay, I can go stay with her if like things go bad. And like my sister comes so that she can help me break the news to my parents. So my sister comes over and she calls my mom to my room, and she tells my mom basically that she's gonna be a grandma. And my mom thinks that my sister is talking about herself because my sister is like 30. So obviously my mom's gonna assume that my sister is what making her a grandma. Unfortunately for my mom, it was not my sister making her a grandmother, it was me. And my mom has no grandkids, so I'm the first one to make her grandma basically. And she was obviously very angry and was like, what the hell? Like, I'm pretty sure you can assume what my mom was telling me. And she basically told me that I have to tell my dad, and I'm like, I'm not looking my father in the eye and telling him I'm pregnant. Because I am my dad's firstborn, so imagine having to tell your dad that his first baby girl is pregnant. No, I did not have it in me. So my sister goes and tells him for me. So my sister tells my dad thinks my sister is joking. He calls me to the room to confirm that it was not a joke, and I was like, nope, it's not a joke. And they were both very angry with me, obviously, and thankfully they didn't kick me out, but he just told me to go to my room. And when I came to my room, I just started packing my things, because even though like they didn't throw me out, I still wanted to give them their space because I knew things were going to be too intense at home. and it just wasn't going to be good for me to be here during my first trimester because I would be stressed out really bad. So I packed my things and I go stay with my aunt for a few weeks. And then basically, like, once things have calmed down at my house, I come back and I'm here now. And yeah, fast forward, I'm 37 weeks tomorrow. So this baby is about to pop any second. They're still kind of trying to process and accept it, and so am I. But I'm sure they're happy now. And the baby's dad is in the picture. We're just not together, but we're both equally committed to having a healthy co-parent relationship for the sake of the baby and to give our baby the best life regardless of our differences. And we get along. It took us a while to start getting along, but we both put our differences aside, obviously, because our feelings aren't what is important. The baby's what's important. And yeah, so here's to a healthy co-parenting relationship.
Let's do a story time on how I got on and won Tipping Point. I actually always forget, so I went on Tipping Point in 2021 and I did document the whole thing. Like, I put it on my TikTok, me applying, me getting through to the next round and all things like that. But obviously I've gained so many more followers since then, so loads of you are like, what happened, what's this? So I'm gonna tell you what happened from start to finish. So basically it was a random day in 2021. And Tipping Point was on the TV. Me and Sam were watching it. I don't know why, because we never really watched TV. But anyway, it was on and it was the final question, and there was a girl and she got asked something like, what's a horse's foot called or something? And the answers were like, I don't know, like a foot, a hoof, or like a toe, I don't know. And she obviously got it right with the hoof and she won. And I just thought, that is so easy, I'm going to apply. So when the programme was finished, it was like, do you want to be on Tipping Point? Apply here, yada, 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 which I did. It was really straightforward. I'm pretty sure when I did it, I had to answer out like a full questionnaire. It's like when I've applied for the traitors. It's not just a simple like, I want to apply, that's it. You have to answer all these questions, and I sat and did it all. I will say, I feel like a lot of people will want to apply, and then when they see like the questionnaire form they have to fill out, they'll think, nah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, I literally filled that out and that was pretty much it. I got told like, oh, you get an email and it's like, you may hear back from us, you may not. You won't get an email saying, sorry, we're not going to take your application further, because obviously they get so many. You'll only be contacted if they want to, you know, speak to you further. Does that make sense? I think so. Okay, so then I think a few weeks went by. It could have even been a month. I can't remember. But some time went by and I got a random phone call on my phone, and I never answer random numbers. I just don't. So I left it, and I was actually in work. I was in Costa and I've been left a voicemail. So my manager was like, oh, go and listen to the voicemail. So I listened to the voicemail and it was Tipping Point. They said they wanted me to do a over the phone interview. So I was actually like, oh my God, what? Like, I'd forgot that I'd even applied because it had been like quite some time. But yeah, I went back to my manager and I was like, oh my God, it was Tipping Point. Like, they want me to do a over the phone interview. And she was like, go and do it now. This is why she was the best manager ever. She was like, go and do it now. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I rang them back, spoke to this lady who was absolutely lovely, and she just said, oh, we saw your application and we'd like to just have an interview over the phone with you. So I was like, okay, great. And then she said, so first of all, I'm just going to ask you like general like questions about yourself, your life, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then she said, and then we're going to have a general knowledge quiz. And I was like, what? Guys, I wouldn't class myself as a clever person. Yeah, I got like 8 or 9 GCSEs, but that's because I worked really, really hard. You know, like some people are just naturally clever. I'm not. So when it comes to general knowledge, I was like, oh no. So I was a bit like, oh, and she could tell that I was like, you know, surprised by that. But she said, no, don't worry. We don't care if your answers are right or wrong. We just care how you are going to answer. Like, because some people get asked questions and they'll just say, I don't know. And she was like, I want to see how you answer. If you don't know, maybe explain why you don't know. Or, do you know what I mean? She was just saying to me, they want to basically get a feel of me as a person. And let me tell you, I reckon out of 10, I maybe got like 3 right. There was loads of capitals of countries and I was just like, Zimbabwe, Berlin, Berlin. Yeah, I was literally just saying like random stuff. I remember there was one question and it was about a painting. I think it was about a Van Gogh painting, and I didn't know what to say. And I just went, Jesus. Do you know what I mean? And then she over the phone was just like, okay, great, thank you. But I feel like I know what they wanted that confidence. They wanted that. Obviously you're going to be on TV. They don't want someone that's just going to stand there and go, don't know, Ben. Don't know. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, even though I only got like probably 3 out of 10, also they didn't tell if you were right or wrong. I felt like I gave them kind of what they were looking for. So yeah, the phone call ended and she was like, okay, thank you so much. I'll let you know in a few weeks if we want to have a Zoom meeting with you. So yeah, at this point I was thinking, absolutely no way. I've just said Jesus for an answer, which I knew wasn't right. But I was just thinking, oh well, you know, I'm glad I got that far. Anyway, so some weeks went by, nothing happened, and I received another phone call. And this one said, it was the same lady again, actually, sorry. And she just said, we'd love to have a Zoom meeting with you. So I was like, oh, like, okay. And they were like, with the producers, they just want to see what you look like, again, how you are in front of a camera and just things like that. So I was like, okay, great. And they were like, can we do it tomorrow? So again, I was at work and thinking, I'll just go and ask my manager. My manager straight away was like, of course you can. Of course you can. We'll cover for you. It's fine. So I was like, oh my God, I'm real. Like, imagine if I had a manager that was just like, no, you're meant to be there. It was only a half an hour Zoom meeting. But again, my manager was just the best. So then I had the Zoom meeting the next day. So the next day came about. Loads of people were saying to me, and all my family and stuff were like, oh my God, you must have been so nervous. And I was like, no, I'm not really nervous at all. I can talk for England. So stuff like that really doesn't, I'm just not a nervous person like that. So anyway, went and had the Zoom meeting, met a few of the producers and stuff. They were lovely. I was just really, really honest. The first thing they said was talk about yourself for, I think it was 3 minutes or 2 minutes, something like that, which loads of people would just say like, hi, I'm Sarah, I'm 13. Okay, maybe not 13. Hi, I'm Sarah, I'm 23 and I work in the post office. Do you know what I mean? Loads of people wouldn't know what else to say. Well, like I said, I can talk for England, so I knew that they just wanted me to talk and talk and talk, and the producer actually had to stop me, which, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's a really hard thing to do, to just talk about yourself to strangers for like 2-3 minutes, and that's a long time. But anyway, that's the first thing they asked me to do. Again, they asked me some more general knowledge questions. I don't really remember those ones, but again, they were not all correct. Did that, and they were like, okay, thank you, Ellie, we will be in touch. So again, I might be getting some of this wrong, but I'm just trying to remember. Again, didn't hear anything for a few weeks, and then I'm pretty sure I got a phone call saying that they would love to have me on the show. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I literally just, you know, just randomly applied after seeing it. And anyway, yeah, they said they wanted me on the show. They said they were going to send me an email, and there was going to be 3 dates, and I had to choose which one I could do or couldn't do, or if I could do all 3, I say I can do all 3. So they did that, and I could do all 3. My manager was like, doesn't matter, we'll sort work out, it's absolutely fine. Tell them you can do all 3 because it looks better. So I did, and yeah, I was given the date the 12th of May, I'm pretty sure. If anyone knows, I did a TikTok ages ago dancing when I got my confirmation, but I'm pretty sure it was the 12th of May. And yeah, this also happened in like February, so I had a few months to wait. But yeah, that was what happened then. So, following on from part 1, I got an email or a phone call, I can't remember, saying which of these 3 dates can you do, can you not do, or can you do them all, or whatever. And my manager, like I said, was straight away like, say you can do them all, it's fine, say you can do them all. So that's what I did. I'm pretty sure, I was finding all this out in like February, March, something like that. I applied in like January, I think. So it was quite a long process because I applied and then I sort of forgot I applied and then I randomly got a phone call. So yeah, I think this was around like March time, and I had 3 dates given to me in May. I said I could do them all, and then quite quickly I got another email saying you're going to be on in May. I'm going to try and find the video. I did a video dancing. So yeah, I got that email saying 26th of May 2021 we're going to film your episode of Tipping Point, and obviously as you can see by the dance, I was buzzing. I'm not actually going to put on any foundation today. I'm just going to do a bit of concealer. So it all got really exciting. I told all my friends and family, like everyone was just like, oh my God, couldn't believe it. Obviously, absolutely thought there was no way I could win it. I was just buzzing that I could like go on it. The fact I'd applied, gone through all this like audition and like questionnaires and quizzes, and I was actually going on it, I was absolutely buzzing. But yeah, so then I was contacted by the producers and all the people that work behind the scenes and stuff, and they were saying about my hotel, about me getting there, because they paid for all of that. Also, it's filmed in Bristol, in case you didn't know. And for me, Bristol, it's a long way. It's about 5 hours, something like that. Obviously, I was still going to go. So they were asking me about trains and things like that. And I was like, no, I will drive. And they were like, okay, no problem. Had to send my postcode and things like that. And they worked out how much it cost in petrol and gave me the money for the petrol. And booked me in a hotel. The hotel wasn't like really, really fancy, but it was nice. Also, the evening I got there, they gave me like a food voucher to go and get myself some food. So it was a 10 out of 10 experience. So the day came around, obviously I was waiting a few months, and they'd said to me I needed to bring 3 outfit options. They couldn't be blue, because obviously the backdrop in Tipping Point is blue. They couldn't be patterned, and there could be no logos. So I was like, right, okay. They also said they really wanted you to go for bold colours, not like boring colours. So I was thinking, I need something bold that's not patterned, that's not blue, that hasn't got logos on. Like, that may sound easy, but it's a lot harder than you think, and you need 3 options. 3! So the day came around, I drove down to Bristol on the Tuesday afternoon. Again, yeah, it took like 5 hours, but absolutely fine. I don't mind driving, it's okay. Got there, really easy, went into the car park, went to the hotel, they knew my name, everything like that. It wasn't like a specific Tipping Point hotel, it was just a hotel that was near the studios. And it was so funny because I was seeing other people and I was thinking, oh, are they going to be my fellow contestants? Because obviously you don't know until you get to the actual studio. So, had my food the night before, everything was great, hotel was really, really nice. So, the next day, we had to be up and ready for, I think it was around 8:30. We had to be at the studio for like 9. Also, filming was at 12:45. So, you know, we had to be there pretty early with our like different options for clothing and stuff like that. So yeah, got to the studio, I drove, everything was fine, parked fine, everything was great. I went in, they were all very, 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 very friendly. Went straight in, and then we got put into this like little office room. That's the best way I can describe it. So yeah, went into this office room with like my suitcase full of all my different options, and there was a man and there was a lady, and I was looking at them thinking like, do they work here or are they the other contestants? Like, no one really knew what was going on. But we were put in this room and this lady came over to me and said, can I see your different wardrobe options? And she said that to all 3 of us. So I knew they were my fellow contestants. I remember one guy was Welsh and he was called Kelvin. But the other lady, I don't remember her name, but they were so, so, so lovely. So yeah, got out my wardrobe options. I remember I brought this like orange, it was quite bright, this like play suit thing. Straight away, the lady said, nope, not that. So I was like, oh, okay. Then I brought this, it was like a green, it was like a greeny, it was like green and black actually, like jumper. Straight away she said no. So I was like, and then I can't remember the other thing I brought out, but she said again, no. So I was like, they're my 3 options. And I travelled in this like brown like jumper hoodie thing, and she went, wear that, what you're wearing. And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, she said, wear that. Have you got another, cause it was like a tracksuit, and she went, have you got any other bottoms? I said, well, I bought jeans to go with that green and black top. And she went, yeah, wear jeans and wear that jumper. So I brought 3 options of clothing, and I ended up wearing what I travelled in. That's why if you watch the episode, you may be thinking, why is she wearing that? They made me wear that. So then they had to look at the other contestants' clothing to make sure none of us clashed. Also, they had to make sure that we weren't clashing with Ben's suit of the day. There's so much that goes into it that you don't even realise. So yeah, went through our outfits, made us like stand together, got like, they wanted to look at our different heights and things like that to see who would be stood where. Now, there used to be 4 contestants, that's 8, 4 contestants on Tipping Point, but since lockdown they changed it to 3, so there were only 3 of us, which is actually good because if there were 4, I might not have even won. So then we just had time to chill, like they were like, have whatever food you want, have this, have that. They had to get our mics like attached to us and things like that. Then they just had to go through loads of rules, and like if you caught cheating, obviously you're straight away out the game. If you swear, like, just, they were going through all these different rules, but like, yeah, it was fine. It was fine. And what's actually so crazy is we were sat, us three contestants, we were left in this room and we were told to chat to each other for the next like hour, because obviously once the filming starts, they don't want it to be like awkward between the contestants. They want like you to be like chatty and things like that. So they left us in a room for like an hour to talk to each other. And I remember Kelvin was telling me about Line of Duty, which I'd never seen. And yet he was talking about it because I feel like at the time it was huge. And he wouldn't stop speaking about it. He was like, oh, I watched it last night in the hotel. Like, it's so good. So I was like, oh my God, I really need to watch that. And yeah, we were just like chit-chatting. It's actually a really good idea to do because we were not nervous at all.
Am I the astronaut for being uncomfortable with my husband's new friend? Okay, context. A few months ago, my husband, Jay, became friends with this girl, S. He hangs out with her a decent amount of time, once a week to every other week-ish, which is decent given our work schedules. I've never met her, nor have I been invited to. Okay. It's been mentioned that she wants to meet me, however plans are never made and I'm not invited when he goes. He says he's also hanging out with her boyfriend, but again, I've never met these people. A few things that really rub me the wrong way. He's been doing a lot for her and gave her our space heater, which I have no problem with him being helpful or kind, but it seems that he tries to solve it whenever she has an issue. I asked about donating the Nintendo Switch that we have literally never used and has sat in the drawer for years to a child in need, and he said no because he told S that she could maybe borrow it sometime, and he can't go back on his word that she could maybe borrow it sometime. However, he promised an incredibly close friend of mine that she could for sure have our old Xbox as a Christmas gift, and he's fine going back on that for me to donate that instead. Also, every single time we've gotten in a fight since he met her, he's stormed out of the house and run over to her place. He does not return for hours and does not contact me at all while he's gone. I only know where he is because we have iPhones and I have his location. After making a huge deal about spending Christmas with me, he spent less than 2 hours with me and went to a party with her that I wasn't invited to and was gone all afternoon and night. I'm scrolling back up just to remind me. I spoke to him about all of these points and said that I was uncomfortable, and he swore nothing was going on, but apparently turned right around and told her what we talked about. Because she's my friend, of course I told her. And A, this makes him more sus, like you got your story straight. And B, now it's going to be weird with me and her if we do meet. Not that I even want a relationship with a female who runs to my husband every time she has a problem. He has other female friends whom I adore and does none of this shit with them, so it's not just me hating other women or some dumb shit. Am I crazy for being uncomfortable? Especially considering he doesn't tell me what they talk about, but immediately turned around and told her about a private conversation that he and I had.
Red flag.
Last thing I found out today, she's single. Apparently she dumped her boyfriend last night. Guess who she came to first?
Am I in the wrong for telling my wife I won't hang out with her sister and her affair partner? I, 26, have been married to my wife, Sarah, 26, for 5 years. My wife has a sister, Chelsea, 30, with whom she's actually incredibly close with, and they pretty much talk every day. The three of us, and Chelsea's husband, Ryan, 30, used to spend a lot of time together, going on double dates and hanging out as couples. About a year ago, everything changed. It was revealed that Chelsea was having an affair with a guy named Doug, 35. This came as an incredible shock to me as we hung out so much as couples. Ryan took the cheating pretty hard and confided in me how hurt he was for her stepping out on him. Honestly, I was devastated for the guy, and I felt a lot of anger about how everything had played out. My wife insists that she did not know that her sister was having an affair. However, given how close that she and Chelsea are, I have my doubts. Her and Ryan eventually divorced, and Chelsea has been with Doug ever since. Despite everything that happened, my wife and Chelsea have continued their close relationship, going to brunches and spas together, just like before. However, when my wife first brought up the idea of doing a couples activity with Chelsea and Doug, I made it clear that I didn't want to participate. I still think it's messed up how Chelsea cheated on Ryan, sneaking around his back for so long, and then acting like nothing happened. My wife says that the marriage is over now and it's time to accept Doug as part of the family. When Chelsea brought up the idea of going on a couples trip with her and Doug, I reiterated to my wife that I didn't want to hang out with her sister and her affair partner. My wife got upset, asking why I was harping on this and how it didn't affect me. I told her it did affect me, because Ryan was hurt deeply by what Chelsea did. He trusted her, and she portrayed him in the worst way. Sarah said that I couldn't judge their relationship because I didn't know what it was like. Sarah then told me that she still loves her sister and isn't going to abandon her because of the affair. I told her that I wasn't asking her to stop talking to Chelsea. I just didn't want to be expected to hang out with Chelsea and Doug as a couple.